On this episode of the IT Experts podcast, we're going to help you understand what we mean when we talk about selling on value rather than on price. Welcome to the IT Experts podcast, the only podcast to help MSPs scale to 1 million, and if already there, get to 5 and go faster. At the end of the day, isn't it all about building a business that works for you rather than you for it? I hope you enjoy the show. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the IT Experts podcast. Today, going to have a little bit of a break fix edition, a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a quick, short, sharp shock into helping you guys out with something that comes up quite a bit in the community and in our client base. And I'll tell you what happened this week. So we were having a Q&A and people were talking about, you know, the upcoming recession, depression, change of business, whatever it might be, downturn of the economy, blah, blah, blah. And when someone phones you up and says to you, can't afford it anymore, it's too expensive, we've got to look at all our costs, etc., we're going to have to leave. Now, first things first, if any employee or any client leaves you without you knowing about it, you've done something wrong. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And what I mean by that is if we're regularly keeping in communication with not only our team, but also with our clients, then, we'll always have a good bit of a good dialogue going on, good rapport, good relationships. And you'll know in a majority of cases whether something's not right and whether something needs to change and whether, you need to adapt the approach or you need to offer more service or, meet the needs of your employee. So it shouldn't really be a surprise because of that consistent communication, that consistent, building that relationships. So we got into this big conversation about how do you sell on value? So I thought, right, let's spin this into a bit of a podcast. So if someone turns up, so I think the first thing to mention is that value is in the eye of the beholder. And things are only expensive if you don't understand or you don't see or perceive the value of something. So you could quite easily open up Auto Trader and buy a car for £1,000. You could also open up Auto Trader and buy a car for, £1 million if you wanted, I guess. And they both do the same thing. They both would take you to Sainsbury's or other supermarkets, or they'll both take you to the shops. They'll both perform that function of transporting you. However, one of them has a much higher perceived value to a Ferrari fan or a Lamborghini fan or whatever it might be than to someone who doesn't really care about cars too much and just wants to get down the shops. But they still do the same thing. You'll still turn up somewhere in the same, in the same way as you would do. So it's around that value. And when we look at some of the higher end marketing things, some of these really expensive watches, expensive houses, expensive holidays and things like that, they're not expensive, but they are of a different value to, the cheaper end of the market. And if you start getting your mindset into a place of, I'm going to be creating a high value, high connection, quite an exclusive MSP where, you work with us when we kind of like let you in as it would be, you're going to be able to command more money. You're going to be able to command more, basically more money. That's kind of all I really need to say on that. So with the, with what's going on in the world right now and all the scaremongering in the media and the downturn of the markets and everything like that, we've got to be prepared for when people phone up and say, I can't afford it anymore. And what do we do about it? So I've got 5 tips. I did have 3, but as I started writing them out, I ended up with 5, to be quite honest. So I've got 5 tips about how to help you to demonstrate the value to your clients rather than, them thinking that you're expensive. So the first one is all about listening to their problems and understanding what issues that they've got. Yes, you provide Office 365, backup security and all that other good stuff. But what is it that they really want? They might be an agile workforce where they're doing a lot of hybrid and they can't get files across the servers properly, or they might be a business where they've, it could be a trading floor, something like that, where you've got backup for power and also for internet. So I want you to listen to their problems and understand how those problems affect their business. And then you need to work out how your business can help their business overcome those problems, if you know what I mean. I think I've gone around in a bit of a circle there, but I think you know what I mean. While you're listening to their problems, I want you to think about and recognize the language that they're using And if you mirror that in your sales decks, guess what's going to happen? You're going to build rapport quicker. All the stakeholders that are involved and everything like that. So really understand and listen to their problems is number one. Number two, understand their own growth plan. Where is their business going? Now, it might be heading for a bit of choppy waters, so they might be hankering down and bolting down the hatches and getting ready for a bit of a rusty ride. They might be in a growth phase, and in which case they're going to need more technology and more efficiencies and more of what you do to help them out. I always think it's really important to have a deep and meaningful conversation with them at good depth on where their business is going and what they're doing. And then you can see and hunt out the opportunities that could be for increased offices, increased workforce, hybrid working, security, whatever it might be. So understand where their business is going and listen to that as well. Number three is use the term partner. I'm going to partner with you and use, as I mentioned in number one, use their similar language. No, a supplier relationship is like a contractor relationship. Whenever you say the word contractor, the first thing that comes to my mind is pound signs. It's going to be expensive. The second thing that comes to mind is that it's a short-term thing. You're going to come in, fix a problem, and then go again. So expensive coming in. Do you know what? I don't mind paying a little bit extra money for someone to come in and do what I want them to do because they're going to be gone and they're going to fix my problems. But we don't want to build a relationship like that. We want a long-term relationship as an MSP with your end client. And we want you to partner with them. We want you to make sure that you're really ingrained with them and understanding what's going on with in their business, and that you've got their back. You're working together as a team. You're not just supplying them licenses. You're not just supplying them, stuff that they pay for that's a dark art that you haven't explained to it how it works their business. Remember that you've got solutions that will help their businesses, but you don't need to explain to them how you do those solutions, or particularly which back-end RMM, CRM, or your PSA tools you're using. They're not interested in that. They just want to get their outcomes, which is reliable, safe, data secure, making sure the IT works properly, making sure it's efficient, making sure people can talk properly. God, that's a chance to be a fine thing, that they can talk, reliably to each other and those sorts of good things. So use the term partner, really powerful, that one. Number four, get to a point where you can explain your business as an ROI as quick as you possibly can. Now, what I mean by that is, if you're talking about security, what is the impact of all of your systems being down for half a day, an hour, or whatever it is? What's the commercial impact to the business? What's the impact to their clients? How does that affect them? So we were talking the other day about a charity. We was talking to one of our clients about a charity. And if they lost access to their systems, those people couldn't access the charity. And that would not be great, because they're a lifeline for them. So try and demonstrate the return on investment. Try and demonstrate that, look, we're like, an insurance policy. If something goes wrong, we're going to be there. We've got your back. We're helping you become more efficient. With many of the systems and technical systems that we hear and use about in the MSP space, many of them will actually not totally eradicate the need for, employees. But if you've got a system that's, automated around the invoices, and they're going to be scanning, they're going to be using some great software to make sure that happens, then you could replace someone who potentially could be off sick, could be on holiday, and you're building in business resilience is the word I'm looking for. Thank you. To help you demonstrate that ROI. Otherwise, you'll be seen as a cost and just be a thing that sits on the balance sheet, and no one will then connect and attribute that value that we've been talking about to why you need to be there. Yes, you are a significant cost in our business, but you're a valuable one. We understand the value. We understand why you're here. We understand, the ROI, how you partner with us and all that sort of thing, and alignment with the business. So get to ROI as quick as you possibly can. And then number five, keep in touch, whether it be a QBR, a TBR, a monthly one-to-one, a call, a quarterly, a half-yearly review, an annual review, whatever it might be. Don't ever get to that position where you are surprised that one of your clients has left you. over communicate with them, get in there, really understand their business, and make sure that you are, heading off at the beginning if they've got a move going on, if they've got a merger coming up, if they're going to be buying another company, all these sorts of business change that are there all the time. It's just right now we're in this place where it's over communicated. So people kind of like know lots of things about, price rises and all the other things that are going on in the world. So that was about it from me today. Listen to this again, go back and work out and think about where you can demonstrate that you're adding value so that you're not, selling on price all the time. You're selling on value, you're educating, you're informing, you're partnering, you're working with their growth plan. You're not a cost, you're a value item to their workbook, and you will be amazed at what will happen, not only with your relationships, your referrals, the new work that's coming in, but also to you and the rest of your business. So that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed the show. I look forward to catching up with you real soon. Take care now. So I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, I'd love it if you could leave a rating and review on your favourite podcast platform. If you want to learn more about how to take your MSP to $1 million, or if you're already there, go faster, then come and join Stuart Warwick and myself in the Scale with Confidence Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. You go and enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.